Another one of them days, man. Another one of them BMore4Real. Let's go. Put another one up today. I love that song, man. I love the song. What did you want, Wayne?
BMore4Real, y'all. In the house, thank you.
BMore4Real.
We need for real. You know, real on a Wednesday. Allen. I always agree with us. You know, we come over and for us to get along.
Man, BMore4Real is in the building. You locked and live.
I'm Uncle Wayne.
I'm OMG Danny, man. We appreciate each and every single person for viewing, man. We appreciate everybody on this Wednesday. It's a pleasure to make this happen each and every single Wednesday, man. BMore4Real Podcast. Get your weekly dose of reality.
Reality.
How you doing, Uncle Wayne?
See, a lot of times they don't know about reality. You know
how
that,
you
right?
feeling, Uncle Wayne?
Hey, listen, when I'm here, that's half the battle.
That is half the battle.
Half the battle, I am here.
Right.
But look, welcome to BMore4Real this week. We're going to go straight into what we need to get it started here on a Wednesday night.
Well, look, we haven't done this. We haven't done this really in a minute. You know, the moment of silence for those with us. You know what I'm saying? So let's go ahead and give a moment of silence for those that's not with us.
Not with us and couldn't be with us.
Let's clap it up, man. Let's do that, man. Let's do it.
It's been a while. We used to do that every week.
It's been a while, but you know, we lose people throughout time, and we do. You know, people come and go, and we don't acknowledge them. We go through our day-to-day life, and we tend to forget everything that goes on, but yet and still, we still here, and we still moving on. So, if anything, that showed me that the world keeps going on. You know what I'm saying?
With or without
you, the world gonna keep rolling. Round of applause for that too. Round of applause for that
too. So how was your week though so far?
All right, so my week was good. I didn't work 50 hours so far yet, but you know,
you be putting them hours in.
I work probably about 40.
But you know they say if a man don't work, a man don't eat.
Yeah. So
I've been told in the Bible.
They never account for travel time or anything like that, but
when
the
man don't eat.
No, I'm just saying when you work and stuff like that, you gotta work and you gotta work and you have to travel to work. You know what I'm saying? That's time that people forget too. Like I remember coming back from VA today. I was in VA and it took 2 hours just to get back. Well, really an hour and 51 minutes or something like that.
What part of VA? Because that's really not that bad.
No, that is bad. I mean, I was in Arlington.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Right outside of D.C.
You were right outside. Mm-hmm. Sometimes they get that long ride on back down.
Right outside of D.C. If y'all looking and if y'all listening to the stream, you know what I'm saying, make sure y'all go ahead and like and share the stream as well. You feel me? Make sure y'all go ahead and like and share the stream. I can't stress this enough. This is how we grow. This is how we continue to grow. We will continue to grow as well. So we appreciate y'all nonetheless. Let's clap it up for all of our viewers, subscribers, and those who will. BMore4Real is with you, man. Live. Let's go ahead and get straight into it, man. This is the topic of the night, man. It is a war within American streets, and this. I mean, just like last week, how we said how that show was when you can spin this so many ways in a general way, and we would love to hear the audience opinion on this as well. but there is so much war within American streets. And I know y'all see the title too, that we at war. Yes, we are at war. We are at war outside of this country and inside this country. My main focus is on the infighting of the country because, you know, the word says a house that's divided against itself will not stand. What say you, Uncle Wayne?
And you just said it. But you know what? We forgot about something. The streets at one time was really terrible separation. Remember the gangs were like the number one topic at times?
Right.
Think about that. They moved on to that to something else. See how quick?
Yep.
Because and the streets are different than what they say because a lot of people are not from the streets. You know, they get to the streets to their car or from the streets to wherever they had to go, but they are not from the streets, which is a difference. You know what I mean? There's a different types of people that lived in Baltimore itself. From the streets is a difference than being in the streets. See? We gotta
I get what you're saying too. I
know?
get what you're saying too, but we're going to go ahead and clap it up for that one, man.
Let's go ahead and do that. We say words, but we don't know the meaning of it.
Right.
We say what somebody else said, but we didn't know the meaning when we say the things that we say.
Well, that's why I said, and people do not understand, but I will reiterate that I will attack English because we are under language oppression.
Attack English.
Yes, because we are under language oppression. Whenever we speak the same language and we need somebody to represent us in court, and we don't know the laws and stuff like that, yes, English needs to be attacked. English needs to be explained because I can say something one way and I can say the same thing and mean something totally different.
You know what? This is the part that'll really blow your mind. We don't even speak English. If you really listen to real English words that we speak, it looks really evolved.
The real English,
the
right?
Real English.
Yeah, the real English, man. That's true, man. We don't speak real English.
We really don't.
This is
any language, not to get off the subject here, but any language in America should matter. They shouldn't stop us, but whenever blacks, we always have to be corrected. You always notice that any other race or they come over here speaking any other language and it's okay, but as soon as we say something, we need to be corrected. Isn't it weird? And you know who correct us? Our own people.
Right. And you know that is so crazy, man. I can't even begin to explain like how it creates. You know, this is when we talk about war within American streets. We talking about war within American speech. We talking about war within relationships with cultures, ethnicity, war within food directives, how you should, even down to washing your chicken. Should you wash your meat? Should you not wash your meat? I mean, just stuff like this put us at odds. The war between a Republican and a Democrat. I mean, all of these wars.
And all over the world.
All over the world, but specifically in American streets.
America, what we do, it amplifies all over the world. We do. What we do in the streets, we are the leader. So when we start to act up, they want to act up.
Right,
it's true. Look at it.
Right.
Look at all over the world. We are beginning starters. That's why a lot of other countries can't stand the United States of America. Look at the leaders. They think we're out of control. I mean, look at it. Because they believe in what you said. Remember that discipline, those rules you said that they had?
Right.
Because United States of America do not have them. We really don't. We want to have freedom of speech and do whatever we want to. You see? Look at it. Look how some people can get indicted 91 times. You get what I'm saying? And never go to jail.
Okay.
Some people can get locked up one time and go to jail for life. Matter of fact, first time got triple life.
Yeah, first
and
offense.
I used to say, what in the world? What is triple life? How can you give somebody a triple life? What are they supposed to die, come back and die again? Or do you convict their children? So think about it. So what is triple life? How can you give somebody triple life?
Well, that I don't know. From my understanding, I guess it's like even if you did die and you came back to life, you go to jail for that one. And then if you came back and died,
because we never pay attention to those things,
you go to jail for that one.
We get the sentences, but we don't even know about them. We just accept them. Okay.
Yep.
You understand what you want to know because a lot of that doesn't make sense. Remember, America in the streets matters. We
War in American streets. So the first one that we wanted to get into as well is the people versus the people. So people are against the people, and it's even on a deeper level for black people because black people are even against other black people. So that is a dynamic within the dynamic itself. And you talk about double entendre when you talk about war within America. You have the war that's a racial war. You have the war that is the war blacks against blacks, and you have the war that's whites against whites. You know what I'm saying? People that's fighting against their own family. I mean, mother against daughter and father against son, like we were talking about.
open the Bible.
So, I mean, all of these wars that's simultaneously happening, and it's like um, it's almost like a parallel universe, if you could, if you will, to explain. Like it's like a parallel universe the way that these events are occurring.
But it's listen, we listen. One thing about our foundation with Be More for Real is because God is our foundation, whether you like it or not. It is, and it's plain and simple.
We had a mislapse.
Oh,
Let's go to a quick break, man. We'll
Satan.
be right back with you. We gonna we gonna go ahead and turn on some music. We'll be right back with And we back, man. We back, man. We appreciate the patience, man. We appreciate y'all, man. We gonna clap it up for y'all. Definitely.
Production. It happens, y'all. We gonna get it together real soon. Real
Definitely appreciate y'all, man. But the people versus the people, what say you, Uncle Wayne?
Where can we start here? You know what I mean with that knockdown. We got to do different though. We do. In order for us to get to that other level, us as blacks, we've got to get along in the streets or anywhere else, or we are not going to be able to accomplish the task. Because our children now bucking because they have different ways of looking at life, but no one understands them. And I'm talking about our children. So instead of them trying to get them to pass that test, they should understand who they are. But we need to be there helping them. You know, the streets will be better if we all pull together. That's where the problem come in at.
So the streets would be all better if we pulled together. Say Uncle Wayne. Let's give a round of applause for that, man. Definitely.
That's where our problem are.
But this is my view right here. The people versus the people. So we can get the double entendre, triple entendre, quadruple entendre. It's still the way that it is. Now, number one is that people don't get along on a surface level within their own neighborhoods. So there was a time and day where we basically used to know our neighbors and stuff like that, right?
Mhm.
So how many of us really know our neighbors? Do you know the person upstairs from you next? If you live in an apartment, upstairs from you, downstairs from you, the building over, do you know them? No. What about the people next door? Do you own that home? How many homeowners know their next door neighbors? Man, I know for a fact that if you own a home, you definitely should know your neighbors and who you made that contract with the mortgage company for the next 15 to 30 years. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just like, let's be more for real about the situation. So as I digress, what say you, Uncle Wayne?
But that's part of the problem right there. We don't get to know our neighbors. We really don't want to even get to know our neighbors. And you ever hear this? That's why people get upset with me when I talk about church folks, because there's a difference between God-fearing men and women and church folks. Church will run right to the church, never even notice anybody in the neighborhood, but run straight to church when you should get to know the people in your neighborhood. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
That you can pull together, because there's a lot of chaos going on right in the neighborhood, and y'all don't even speak to each other. Like I said, in my neighborhood, we know each other well, all of us. Look, including the abandonmeniums. Do you know what abandonmenium is?
The
Abandonmenium.
abandonmeniums. Many abandonment. Many abandonments.
Abandonmenium.
Many abandonments.
So let me explain abandonment. There's when they go into someone else's home and pretend that they live there, which the owner has no clue that they're in there. And they have a bunch of them stay in there and fix the place up as if it's their own.
Right.
Amazing. And they have them in our neighborhood. Unbelievable.
Right.
So when you're talking about the streets, it's all kind of things that's going on in streets and neighborhoods. Because if you knew your neighbors, you would know some of them things. Do you see what I mean? That's
Absolutely.
what I'm talking about in the streets. We have no communications. That's at all.
Absolutely.
Learn to get along.
We have to learn to get along, man. Let's go ahead and
Learn to get along.
You got many issues within the black people in the black community, and one of the major issues that we try to stress with the people is the racial tension between blacks and whites. There is so much tension between black and white that the people that do not choose to realize this reality will be doomed to repeat the mistakes of the past, right? So let's look at this on a realistic standpoint, right? And look, I know it might sound controversial as well, but I know it might sound controversial as well, and you don't have to agree with me. And if you disagree with me, type it in the chat. We can deal with it, right? But everybody is prejudiced. Black people have their prejudices and all that stuff.
I've heard that.
Asian people have their prejudices. We all have our prejudices, right? But only one particular group can be racist. See, racist in its purest definition, when you try to break down, that's why I'm attack English. When you try to break down racism for its purest definition, you have to say race is an ethnicity. That's where you come from or whatever, right? So then you have to figure out what the suffix ist is. The suffix ist means a perfection at, or a master of, if you will. So let's say you are in the gym and you do gymnastics. They will, and you do it professionally. That's another word to describe the ist. It will be a gymnast. You will be a gymnast. Now, let's say that you rap or write poetry or something like that or whatever. You feel what I'm saying? What you do is write lyrics, but what your profession is and what you have mastered is being a lyricist. Okay? And so now when you play the piano and you have mastered, or you play the piano at a professional level, now you are a pianist. So now you mean to tell me, though, that a racist is something that is mastered by everybody? If you look at the definition of racism, it do include everybody. Everybody can't be racist. And see, this is BMore4Real. When we can't talk about subjects like this, and we can't be for real, there is no growth. Because I forgot the lady name, and I wish I did remember her name, but this is what she did. She put it in plain view. If you as a black person didn't like white people, for instance, right? What would happen to the white person that you didn't like? Nothing. But if a white person didn't like you, what would happen to you? Oh, you won't get the job, you won't get the loan. We don't understand that racism is systemic. It's not saying that, you know, all white people are racist. Well, yeah, kinda. They're prejudiced. We're all prejudiced. We all should have some type of prejudice. If you say you don't have a prejudice, you're a motherfucking liar, because everybody has bias. There's literally no such thing as you not having a bias. That is a prejudice.
Someone or something.
That is a prejudice. So we're not teaching people that. And the reason why we don't teach people that is because we're not able to deal with that on a mass scale level, because some people are extremists and they want the system that is still racist to maintain. So, I mean, I said a lot. What say you, Uncle Wayne?
You listen, you make sense of it.
Makes sense. And that's what I mean by the people against the people. It's really race against race. Why can't we sit here and talk about race? Why can't, you know what? I'm going to say this too. Black people need to have a thicker skin. Because when white people talk about black people, it's all this hoorah up for, and the first chance you get, you want to call them all types of names on the book, and they want to be accepted. See, that's the stuff that need to be said. The moment a white person say something, oh, now he's racist for calling out black people on their shit, excuse my language. That's bull. We could just sit there and say the white man this, the white girl this, the da 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 da. We could do all that. But let them say the same thing. Then it's just, like, bro, we ain't gonna grow like that. We ain't gonna grow like that. We got to have that conversation. We got to have that conversation.
And the thing we got to have a conversation without the anger.
Right.
You see what I mean? A conversation where they can hear our side, we can hear their side. We very rarely ever have that conversation. We really don't.
We really don't.
When we have that conversation, it's heated. That's why it's kind of hard to hear both sides.
Right.
Because there is a legitimate side on both sides. There really is. I mean, if you hear from both sides. But a lot of us don't want to hear what whites seem to think of us.
Right.
If you're black.
Right.
We feel as though they don't have the right.
Right.
But sometimes you got to understand what someone think of you to understand yourself more. That's the thing. Learn their perception of you, regardless. I didn't say it was right or wrong, but learn the perception that they have of you. And sometimes it could be right. Do you see? But we've got to have this conversation. We got to have it real soon. But you ready for this? It's two conversations we got to have. We got to have that conversation with white folks, and we got to have the conversation with us black folks. You see? Two conversations we got to have that's very imperative. You know, to get this thing together. So that's what we're going to be working on our next episode anyway, to be bringing more things to the forefront when being able to discuss. We've got to discuss it, y'all. We've got to have these uncomfortable conversations, like it or not, to get to the next level.
So we're gonna clap it up. Conversations regarding race. We have to have more conversations, and we talked about this in the past as well too. We have to have more conversation regarding food. This is why the people are against the people, because when people say things to bring attention and awareness to something, it's like the people don't follow up on it. You know what I'm saying? Our people, let's be more for real. This is BMore4Real Podcast. BMore4Real Podcast. Man, look, we talk about the real because like this is something that really has to be stressed, and I don't care how many times people hear it. But sugar, especially white sugar, brown sugar, cane sugar, high fructose corn syrup, those things are addictive, and like I said, they have the same side effects as drugs. We're not being taught about that. They don't want to tell you that foods are drugs. They don't want to tell you that viruses and certain stuff that they coming out with was intentionally done, and they had mistakes doing these things. So when you talk about the people against the people, when we fighting against each other, we cannot fight the system that's condemning us, because we're too busy infighting, and they know that. Yep. That's that trick of the enemy. A house divided against itself won't stand. So if we want to make something happen, We need to make something happen as a collective and as a group.
Yep.
We need to stand up against it. I don't think people know that even with gun rights, right? We have the right to protect ourselves with guns in case of a government overthrow. I think they missed that. They think we anarchists because we're telling people that, look, this stuff is so the government won't overthrow us. So obviously there had to be a plan in place previously where the government would overthrow us, or else they wouldn't include it in the Constitution. So why haven't we looked at this and we keep on putting and pushing gun rights and gun laws on law-abiding, gun-owning, and they don't even have to be, some of them are felons. Let's be real about it. Some responsible gun owners can be felons or whatever. That's another conversation for another time. But I'm just saying, we have these things in place to protect us against a government overthrow. And I seen that by lieutenant. I think that was in North Carolina, South Carolina. He was like a lieutenant governor. I forget his name, but we can't forget the message. See, I always forget people's names, but I do not forget the message because that's what has to stick. You feel what I'm saying? Forget the person, forget who said it. Is what they said is true. Forget their background. You know, black people and a lot of people on the internet, they do a lot of this. Oh, well, he's this, he's that, he's gay. This nigga like anime. This nigga like guns. He like strippers. He like whatever. You feel what I'm saying? She like this. She like that. And they try to destroy your message through your character when you are not a product of your own circumstances. You are a victim of it. So they try to describe you from your circumstances and not by who you are. They don't know that you're the person that overcame all that stuff. They don't know you by that. We have to stop these things as a people, man, because we attack the very message of a person based off of their character. And that's the direct opposite of Brother Martin Luther King when he said, we're going to judge people based off of the content of their character and not their material gain, their material wealth. And so I bet you he turned over in his grave because it's like, if you don't have nothing, then you are nothing. And I'm here to say, yo, that is not true. You are something, you belong. Life is purpose and is done on purpose. People know when they lay down and have sex, it'll create a baby. So whether or not you say it's a mistake or not, life is done on purpose and everything is done for a purpose.
Yo,
it's our time. It's our time, man. We're going to go ahead and clap it up for that segment.
And
my bad for going
when
on.
you go out, I love it. And when you lay down and have that baby, take care of it. That's important. That's really important
Exactly.
too. So we keep missing that. We're not taking care of our responsibilities as blacks. That's when people get upset when I say it. But I really do mean this. This is where part of our problem is now. You upset and angry, but are you taking care of your children? You see, this is what I say. I don't care about excuses because it's over with. When our children out there feeling left alone, why? Why are they feeling that way? Whose responsibility is it? It is because we're not taking care of our own. Mm-hmm. And the situation is getting worse and worse and worse.
Yep.
So us as blacks, we got to pull together and do the necessities. And we have to do it now. Mm-hmm. That means pull together.
The people versus the people. Now remember this. Blacks have a problem with this. We have a problem with being compared to other groups and ethnicities of people. So our problem is we don't like to learn from other people. We like to say, look, our truth. I've been hearing it more and more frequently nowadays that, you have your own truth and things of that nature. This is your own truth. You have your own truth. Now, let's just look at this objectively and not subjectively. When you have your own truth, let's just apply this to real life. Let's say you feel like you can cross the street the way you want to. Now, everybody else tell you the way you cross the street is to look both ways. And especially in Baltimore, if you're from Baltimore, because we BMore4Real. We BMore4Real. If you're from Baltimore, even if it's a one-way street, you better look both ways. Don't let nobody clamor you out for looking both ways down a one-way. Nah, because niggas ain't stupid. It be people that don't come from around here that drive up these streets all day. You don't never know. Look both ways, even if it's a one-way. Because you never know. It could be coming from the other direction. It's called element of surprise. But as I digress, you know what I'm saying? The people against the people. We are unable to do things effectively because we can't effectively compare ourselves to anybody. Now, look at how everybody else runs their family in America and look at how black people run their families in America. We don't have none of that structure. Our families constantly beefing, people getting locked up. You know what I'm saying? Going, the police called at our houses. Let's just look at how we've been raised. You know what I'm saying? All of the cousins fighting against cousins. That could be your own cousin, and guess what happened? You, man, come on, man. If you be more for real, man, I don't even got knowledge, man.
Listen,
I don't even got knowledge, man.
Hey, listen.
Let's just pop a horn. Because look, it's gonna be dad against the son. It's gonna be son against dad. It's gonna be uncle against the auntie. It's gonna be all of that, man. Let's be real. And as long as that's happening, we are being kept in the same cycle that we're in, because the enemy did his job. He gave us the tools to destroy ourselves, so he don't have to do nothing. Let's make the enemy work a lot harder.
But you know what? It's time to go and take back everything the enemy stole from us. That's what it is. It is time to get back our family, get back that love, that respect. It is time. We pull together, we can get it done. You understand? Listen, let's put the enemy on notice. We're coming back to take everything you stole from us.
Everything that you stole from us. You better believe it. So, no guess, but we welcome in that spirit. We welcome in the spirit of the truth. You know what I'm saying? We are welcoming in that spirit to the front door. Absolutely. We saying welcome because, like I said in the previous post, I think it was last week, is that, our problem is we don't want to hear the truth. And we cater to people that tend to cater to our egos, but catering to our egos is what's feeding the delusion. So, we just have to be more for real about our circumstances and things like that. Now there is a secondary topic about this, and you could tell us as well too, about the topic where we at war at in America in the streets. There's plenty of places we at war. I just mentioned a few of them: drugs, food, racism, government oppression, language oppression. We don't know the language. Just peep game. And when you see it and when you come back to your senses, you'll realize. But no more neighborhoods, just hoods. This is something that came from Dr. Claude Anderson. And what I want people to do before we even address this is let's listen to Dr. Claude Anderson and see what Dr. Claude Anderson has to say. Hopefully I can pull this up. Let me see. Layer. Give me a second. Matter of fact, give me a second. But no more neighborhoods, just hoods. No more neighborhoods, just hoods. What say you, Uncle Wayne?
Well, that makes sense. But look, everyone have hoods. Everyone have neighborhoods. Regardless wherever it is, we all have neighborhoods. It's just different people live different ways in different areas. That's all. But the only thing about it is we got to accept all. We can't just say it got to be this and should be this. We got to learn. That's the thing we don't want to do. We want to think, oh, I know what it is. It should be this. It is what it is. Learn from others. That's what we do. In order for us to get along, we've got to get along. We do. The children see we don't get along. That's why they doing what they doing. See, think about it now. It's no other way to get this done unless we pull together and get it done. Separation is our downfall, and this is where it's coming all the way. Hey, enough of that. So our solution.
So I did already have it. Let's go ahead and show it. If y'all can hear it, put a 1 in the chat. If you can't, put a 2 in the chat. We do have it up. Bear with us.
Right now, we do not have not one single black community in America. All you got are black neighborhoods. A neighborhood is where you eat and sleep. A hotel is a neighborhood. And some of these neighborhoods has gotten so bad now, they're not even neighborhoods anymore. Crime has gotten so high, they ran a neighbor out, got left as a hood. That's why they call it the hood. Nothing left in there. They don't have any communities. A community must have 3 elements. You must have a wholly independent economic structure that can produce jobs, services, goods, products, and resources for your own people. 2, the second thing you must have in there, you must have a code of conduct, saying this is how we're going to behave. Here's how we're going to love and support each other, appreciate them, care about them, protect them. And lastly, you must have politicians elected to office who will represent you first and foremost. You don't put black folk in public office that will look out for everybody else before they look out for you. If you don't have those 3 things, you don't have a community.
We're going to hold on. Let's do this one more again. Let's do this one more again.
Right now, we do not have not one single black community in America. All you got are black neighborhoods. A neighborhood is where you eat and sleep. A hotel is a neighborhood. And in some of these neighborhoods, it's gotten so bad now, they're not even neighborhoods anymore. Crime has gotten so high, they ran a neighbor out. All you got left is a hood. That's why they call it the hood. Nothing left in there. They don't have any communities. A community must have three elements. You must have a wholly independent economic structure that can produce jobs, services, goods, products, and resources for your own people. Two, the second thing you must have in there, you must have a code of conduct, saying this is how we're going to behave. Here's how we're going to love and support each other, appreciate them, care about them, protect them. And lastly, you must have politicians elected to office who will represent you first and foremost. You don't put black folk in public office that will look out for everybody else before they look out for you. If you don't have those three things, you don't have a community.
Man, I just look.
Well said.
Shout out Dr. Claude Anderson, man. If y'all don't know about Dr. Claude Anderson, you might want to go look him up. You might want to go follow him on Power Economics and all that stuff, man. He was on the Breakfast Club. He was on all that. And he's a respected elder of the community, just like Uncle Wayne. Excuse me. As I digress, though, this is what we are doing as a people. We are changing the power of economics. Now, on the last show and on a previous show, I told the people that black people were $1.9 trillion in spending, which was more GDP than some first and second world countries. What are we doing with that money? Because I guarantee you one thing, the Asian people, they got that money wrapped around tight in their community. Mm-hmm. White people got that money wrapped around tight in their community. Mm-hmm. The Hispanics got that money wrapped around tight in their community. They know how to make the money go circle around. Now, if we could be more for real, white people are the only ones that have this kind of, and I don't want to, look, I'm not racist, but look, the white trash shit ain't come from us. The white trash thing ain't come from us. They have a way of downing their own people. So how do we trust their system when they have a system that downs their own people and reside them in trailer parks and shit like that? We would never do our people like that. We would never. We would never. We would never. So, look,
where our difference is.
Let's be more for real about what's going on in those circumstances, man, because everybody don't got it. And that's the reason why when you see people out and about and we in the hood and you see white people in the hood and they say, look, I live the same life as you. Yeah, that's because your peoples did it. We ain't come up with this shit. How do we change this? How do we change this? We start with changing the laws, man. Look, one thing is jail reformation. If you ain't get life and you ain't do nothing egregious and you can be back on the street, that's what needs to happen. You need to be in a facility where as though it acclimates you back into the lifestyle of the real world. But in the real world, the people that's in prison, that's locked up in prison, they are in a shell, whereas though they've been institutionalized to whereas though if you spend more than like 8 or 9 years in this, you are legally disabled. You can get a disability check at this point. You've been institutionalized. That's a real fact.
Wow.
That's a real fact. I think after 8 or 9 years in prison, you're able to get your disability check because you've been institutionalized. At that point, you've been so much in that system, that prison system, that you probably don't know how to acclimate to the real world. And that's what I mean. We need prison reformations and things like that. You know what I'm saying? It's just, it's just crazy, man. We got a comment real quick. Uncle Wayne, he said Uncle Wayne can make mayor, but if not, council board office. What you think about that?
Listen, hey, let's give it some applause.
Let's give him some round of applause, man. If he said if you shoot for the moon, excuse me, if you shoot for the stars, you might hit the moon.
But you know what? I'm going for the jugular vein. Do you get what I'm saying? I'm going straight for the jugular vein because Baltimore need to be managed a whole nother way. We have to stand up, just like you having this conversation here, especially when you feel as though you're a felon. We think we're failures.
Right.
You understand? And then you start to act like that.
Right.
When you have to understand when God has chosen you to do something, you better stand up and do it.
Right.
And it's time for us to pull together and get this done. Hey, and listen, whichever position God put me in, you know I'm going to do the best job ever. But believe it, I can't do it by myself. No, so I don't just need your vote. I need your prayers. You understand? That's the thing, because we need help to get through this. We do. We really seriously do.
Let's give a round of applause for that as well,
Yes.
man. Let's go ahead, man. Let's do that, man, because
Got
man,
to.
it is so crazy how sleek people are. And everybody talking about woke. This be more for real podcast. Everybody ain't woke that's talking about being woke.
Half of them know what woke
You know
is,
what
for
being
real.
woke is all about, really? If you can sum it up, it's about being aware of things that's around you. That actually happened to be the same, almost the same exact definition of what it means to be conscious. That's why they call it the conscious community, because they are awakened. They are aware of things that are happening around them. Now, how many of us are really aware of things that are happening around us? And I'm gonna tell you, it's not many, because most of our people are so busy being entertained rather than educated. They rather listen to something that pleases their ears rather than something that hits their ears and make you question and think about reality. That's why we have this Be More for Real podcast, because, like, look, come get this daily dose of reality, because people probably haven't got it. Look, we got the technical difficulties, but look, we keep it real. And there's always going to be a mistake you make, especially when you're doing it live. So the people that want you to be perfect, like we were talking about last week, go back last week and revisit the show and see what we had to say about being perfect and wanting to be perfect and not wanting to mess up. You know, we appreciate the mess ups, we appreciate the mistakes, and we appreciate
Bro,
all of our viewers that stay with us through
look
those
from where,
mistakes.
listen from the beginning to where we are to now, and we're steady growing. That's it. But this is what we want to do. Remember, we are Be More for Real, and we are going to be real all the way through. You understand? But the thing about it, no one can agree with anyone on everything. Remember, you can please some of the people some of the time. You will never please all the people
All the time.
You know what I mean?
Never you will. Never will
So
you.
gotta remember
Never
that.
will you do that. We got a couple more comments. He said, Trayshawn, he said, let more. He said, excuse me, let more about what you do. I don't know what that. Let's hear more about what you do. I think that's what it said. Let's talk about what. He's all right. He said, let's talk more about what you do.
Oh, me, you, whichever way.
He's gonna be talking about you. You the one running for
I
mayor.
didn't understand.
Don't
So
nobody
I
want to
don't
hear what I do,
understand.
man. For real,
Yes,
it's
we
not.
do.
It's not
We
worth
all
hearing.
important. Cut that out.
It's not worth hearing.
We all important. Hey, listen, I'm running for mayor because it is time for a change. It really is. You know, I started with the program when we were trying to. I didn't want to jump into this, but I got to tell you, our politicians are just stabbing us in the back. They do. You know, the inner city came up with a program to put trade schools in the inner city at Target and Mondawmin Mall. We had the whole project set up and everything. The politicians went behind our back, sold the building to Whiting and Turner. So when
They sold
on
the building to who?
to Whiting and Turner, they're
I heard of White Man.
they are this multi-billion-dollar, construction.
Yeah. They own a lot of construction sites I work on.
So I will get into that real deep on how our politicians let us down. But when I'm fighting so hard, that's the reason why we gotta make a change, and we have to do it now, real quick. We can't allow that, because I'm telling you, from here to next Wednesday, we can see the death, the ODs, the mental health situation, which we need to bring up too. These issues that we do not bring up, and we need to address those issues. So that's what I'm working on. I'm all the way around on this. And we're going to, after the 3rd of January, that's when we're going to start having presentations where I show up and break the whole project down in the plan that we have for Baltimore City.
Absolutely, and we're gonna clap that up for that,
don't forget
man.
Uncle Wayne running for mayor, and we will get these presentations out where I show up. So don't forget me. Don't forget me. Don't forget me.
We're gonna get them out. One thing I would like to ask though, especially given though you running for mayor, I will say my own personal question would be, I've seen a pattern of Republicans investing in opportunities and Democrats investing in welfare. We know now that you're running for Democrat, but you want to invest in opportunities. Like that is like different
It is
from.
sad when you say that, but
No, I'm saying for real. We be more for real, and I never
absolutely
even asked you that. I never asked you that. So I'm just saying, like, how could you be running for Democrats? And Democrats normally invest in welfare opportunities traditionally. Not always the case, and Republicans traditionally, not always the case, have always invested in opportunities for the people. Um, how can you even separate yourself from
And
Democrat and Republican and be
I
true?
agree if you ask for that because that is a real true question. I had to really think about that. And when you think about Democrat versus Republican, because I don't disagree with everything Republicans, and I don't agree with everything a Democrat. Do you
Okay,
understand? But
okay,
you have no other choice. On the you either can go Democrat or Republican. I was there debating with them and trying to figure this thing out. But
right.
even in the Board of Elections, they can't quite figure it out. They're saying you have to be either or. You can't even be independent. And you ready for this? Have you ever read the description of an independent that party? They their rules and regulations are so far out there. So for a person who really have their own beliefs, you don't have many choices to go on, either Democrat or Republican. So what is a person to do?
I mean,
That's
if
starting
you
out
really
from the
asking me,
beginning.
it seems like you got to choose between the two of the lesser
Really.
evils.
That's
And,
exactly
and,
it.
and I'm
No
like,
other
hold
choice.
on. It's like you got to choose between two of the lesser evils. And for me, it's not faith reinducing within the community. How do you reinstall faith within the community that and trust at this point? Because you did have certain black people that ran like Jesse Jackson, right? Jesse Jackson ran for, was it president at one point in
Mhm.
time? What,
He was
1984 or something like
president.
that?
Yeah.
He
Ran
no,
for
he
president.
wasn't, but he
Yeah,
ran
he
for
ran
president. Yeah,
right.
yep, I get what you're saying, and I'm just saying like black people can say, all right, we have tried this before. What's the difference between you and the rest of the people?
Yeah. Because I'm a solution, not a politician. That means those rules and regulations that the politicians do, that is not where I go by. I go by the solution. It's a change that need to be made. It's a situation when Baltimore need to be changed all the way across the board. All the way across the board. The police department, the school system, the workers here, the construction here, these terrible streets. You ever see these roads in Baltimore City? This is ridiculous. And then they say there are no jobs. Look at these roads. Look at these broken houses. There are jobs. This place is here. We need to move some things around and let it fit. All of these roads, believe me, by the time I'm in there, all these jobs be filled. These will be the smoothest roads you ever seen. And there's another thing too. Look at these buildings. We sitting here living in Baltimore City, and these buildings are falling down. And you know what's happening? Everyone's getting the buildings and turning them into stores, but us. Seriously, look at it now. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
not talking about any other race, but now we're in competition against Spanish or Puerto Ricans. No offense. Look now, they are coming over and they are buying as many stores and fixing them up at homes as we have in the inner city. And what are we doing? This is the part that hurts. We're at the corner. The same corner we at, they now own the stores.
Mm-hmm.
Do you get it?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What is wrong with us?
We're gonna clap it up for
What
that,
is
man. We're gonna
wrong
clap it
with
up
us?
for that.
Yeah.
And also, look, we got a comment. It's my brother, man. He said, "Look, solutions over politics. That's
There
what we
you
voting
go.
for, solutions
Hey,
and not the politics,
yes,
man.
sir.
Let's go ahead and clap it up again for that too. Solutions over politics.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of questions that need to be asked, and if you guys have questions to ask as well too about somebody that's running for mayor, feel free to. We got the Instagram, we have the BMore4Real Podcast Instagram, we got the BMore4Real Podcast Facebook, we have the Gmail BMore4Real Podcast Gmail. Feel free to hit us up on any of those avenues. That's what we have right now. But we really want to know, and the reason why I ask these questions is because I tend to lean towards the Democratic view. Excuse me, the Republican view on things of investing in opportunities. And so one thing that stuck out to me was like you said, crime plan. Instead of a crime plan, we have solutions. And you know how my brother just said, solution over politics, and that's fine. That's fine and dandy. But will you maintain the integrity about looking behind your people? Because everybody else that get in the office, for me, everybody else that get in the office, they look out for their own people. Let's look in Baltimore. Let's go to Jewtown. You know what I'm saying? Baltimore City, northwest region of Baltimore City. They own Sinai. They own everything from Sinai, Northern Parkway, on up the houses, the stores. They own all that. And then on top of that, they have their own people over in charge of that region and that district, even in terms of the government. So,
True fact.
so how can we compete with that?
Listen, we're not competing with that. This is what we do. As me as mayor, you need to understand, we're not competing with anyone. We're not bumping heads. We're not fighting. We're just doing what we're supposed to do. As Baltimoreans, it's no race. I'm not talking to any particular race, but we're black and we're 63% black, and most of our issues and situations are concerning blacks. Now, if you said over 300, how you can do that? If you said over 300 murders, I'll give you a prime example we call over 300 murders, how many do you think are going to be black? See, that's where I have to target where the issues at. ODs, how many are? I'm not saying ones don't, but majority are us. We got to make the difference. We can't continue to keep living like this. And so it's no competition. We just going to get things done. Trade schools, all 4 trade schools, 10,000 of those abandoned houses, work on them houses. All them businesses that you see that's run down, we fixed them up. Now they're owned by the city.
So how would that impact? Because those, if you know, they say it's University of Maryland West, Johns Hopkins East. How do you compete with that structure?
Listen, because the competition is all of y'all working on each one. So when we work on the houses on the east side, we work on the houses of Park Heights, we work on the houses on Penn North, we still working on the houses. Get it? That's the whole deal. So it don't have to be competition because all the houses in Baltimore needs to be done. Get it?
That's awesome. And you know what? I actually think that, we should attack one single area and start with one single area first. And once we make that one single area good, we'll expand from that point on forward. Just like how they, all right, look, let's be more for real, man. This is the realest podcast on the planet, y'all. Realest conversation on the planet.
The real.
So, you got people that are from Germany, right? You got Germantown. You got people that's from what is it? China, right? You got Chinatown, right? Which town is Negro Town? Which one?
The black, we don't have.
Which one? We don't got none. Look, I think that we are missing it as black people. We think that being for ourselves as people and being for us as a people is offending white people. Why are you trying to? How in the world are you gonna offend white people when they own every goddamn thing? We the ones that's dumb and slow. We don't own nothing.
Well, that's where our problem.
That's why we don't got a foot in the race.
That's where our problem.
The Black Lives Matter, the whole Black Lives Matter thing. You know what I'm saying? Who do Black Lives matter to? Right. Do it matter to the 300 black people that's going to lose their life on the streets of Baltimore this year? That's 9 times out of 10 going to lose their life to another black person? No. So who the black? We try to force white people to make Black Lives matter when Black lives don't even matter to us. You see the hypocrisy?
See, that's that second conversation. Remember,
you see the hypocrisy?
2 conversations. We got to have a conversation. That's why I say it's no particular area as me as mayor going to start on. We're going to hit the ground running, and we're going to start on at all the same time. It's not like that we have to start on one area. We could do it all at the same time. Listen, the trade school area works. This is how we do it. All 4 areas. And let me tell you how we give back as when they train. If you need work done on your house, work estimate on your house, you need work done on the car, we do it half price. That's how we give back. I'm going to show you how Baltimore going to be black excellence because you're going to see the difference. The same Baltimore, just with opportunities. You understand? When you have opportunities, then you have a decision to choose from. People say, oh, they make a decision, they do it. What decision? You have none. If everything is the same, you're going to follow the same. You see, it's time to make a change all the way around the board.
It is time to make a change, man. We're going to go ahead and cut that. About conversations. We would need white people to join in the conversation. We would need Chinese people to join the conversation. French people to join in the conversation. Nigerians to join in the conversation. South Africans to join the conversation because that way we can get stuff started across the globe on how we can fix what's going on with us. And see, a lot of times we don't even know as a people though. It really starts at home. There is a quote in the Bible that I really like that charity starts at home. So what are you teaching your children? What are you teaching them? Because that's where it starts off. If you really want to be technical, this is why I said I want to attack English. But as I digress, everything requires building from a foundation. That is no different than English. So allow me to lay my point real quick. So if you want to build something, you build something from the foundation up. So they teach you about language. They teach you first your ABCs, and then they teach you how to make those ABCs, scramble those letters to make words. Then they teach you how to put those words together to make sentences, and then they teach you how to put those sentences together to make paragraphs, and then they make essays and so forth and so on. But we don't build that way. We like things to happen overnight, and Rome wasn't built overnight. We like things to happen instantly. The reason why there is a white supremacist agenda and everything like that, the reason why other countries are able to come over here and do better than black people is because black people do slack in a lot of areas, including business, education, and skills.
But who's teaching us?
We're not teaching ourselves.
That's why nobody's teaching.
We're not teaching ourselves. We leave the teaching up to the teachers that we send our kids off to school with and all that other stuff. When the white people don't do that, they leave. The first teaching that they get is from their mother at home, and that makes sense. And why wouldn't you want to copy that, man? Come on, why wouldn't you want to copy that? Why? Give me one reason why you wouldn't want to copy that. The first teaching starts at home. You want to know why? Because that home starts to create a community, and then that community starts to create a nation of people. Shout out my brother Sam, he told me that. But that's how you create a nation of people. That's how you create a nation of people. Now notice, there's even a nation within a nation of African people. You got the Nigerians, you got the South Africans, you got the Ethiopians, you got all these group of people, but they still come over here and they still find a way to make it. And make it with each other. Oh, we African, I'm African, oh, boy. They don't even speak the same. They make it happen. You got white people. He from Poland, he from Ireland, he from freaking Scotland, he from somewhere else. They come over here, they make it happen. You got the Hispanics, the Latinos. Oh, he from Mexico, he from Peru. They two different continents. He from Venezuela, whatever. They come over here, they make it happen. Black people be from the same goddamn hood, born on the same street and be beefing. Come on, man. Let's be more for real.
You right. Hit that. You need an applause.
Let's be more for real, man.
That's what we got to get rid of. We have got to get along. It is no way we can accomplish this task if we don't get along. That's the thing. So listen, it's not just for one particular race of people. It's just time to get the bare minimum done. It's to do more opportunity. If someone don't want to go to college, they should not be successful because they're not taking the road to college. We shouldn't keep training our children to prepare them for college. Let's give it this. If 50% of the children go to college, but yet you're teaching 100% of them to go to college, how unfair is that to that 50%? Do you see? They training them to prepare them for college.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if they're not going to college, you just took their whole life and you wasted the whole time.
That is going to kill a lot of people narratives when you speak against college and all that stuff, because a lot of people, excuse me, a lot of people have wasted some time and money on going to college and getting useless degrees. Us as black people and us as any type of people, we got to warn our people to be aware of the traps that's set. There are useless degrees out here for sure. And you go ahead, you go out there, you get this college debt, which everybody begging for student forgiveness loan, which is how Joe Biden won his presidency, based off of the whole student loan thing. Really, people thought he was going to forgive the student loan. Did your student loans, are they forgiven?
Didn't work out that way.
You still got student loans? That's what I'm talking about.
Work out that way.
That's what I'm talking about.
But why?
And the people, the white people that's not susceptible to that system, guess what? They don't gotta care about student loans. Let me give you an example. Hunter Biden got caught with like 4 ounces of crack in a White House, something like that. What you think gonna happen to Hunter Biden? Nothing. Exactly. Because they own stuff and they're gonna put them in positions. It don't matter what he do, they're gonna make sure you get him out of position. And that's something that's worthy to be followed because they got the system.
And I need Hunter. For you thinking bringing Biden up, that's a perfect analogy of what I'm going for as mayor, because look at what he wants to do. He exactly wants to find out a way to make college free. And he wants to do the 2-year, the AA degree as free. And that works perfectly with what I'm trying to do, because the trade school has to be paid for. And if he's trying to start out with that college as an AA free, which is 2 years, and the highest course that I have is 18 months,
right,
get it? It
right.
could be covered. See,
Right.
that's why I said about different working with Republicans and Democrats, because
Right.
they have different ideas that can work.
Right.
We just have to pull together. We
Right.
do. As blacks, we have got to pull together to get out of this mess. And how to do it is, we're not separate. This is just for us. But take the lead for a change. You see?
Yep.
We need to lead something for a change.
Come on, man.
Come on,
man. You know what we need to do? We need to take pride in our people like white people do. That's why I say we don't like to be compared to white people. We don't like that. But the ones that know, they know. We don't like to be compared to other races and Hispanics. But how are we going to determine the standard if we don't compare ourselves to anything?
We've got to talk
So let's be
this.
more for real about this. Look, we got to be more for real about our finances. We got to be more for real about our education. We got to be more for real about our lifestyles. Be more for real about our diets. And if we don't, then we are dying people. We got to think together as a collective. And if we don't, we are a dying people.
Right. If we don't pull together, we do.
We are a dying people. And this is what I would say. We at war with each other. This is Be More For Real Podcast, and we about to get out of here. Make sure y'all tune in to Be More Baby segment very shortly. It's coming up. This is what I'm going to say before we get out of here. What have we learned from the past, like last week? We have learned that the world operates a certain way. Economy operates a certain way. The law operates a certain way. Your car, everything operates a certain way. Your body, and as soon as you out of order, stuff start working. So if it's out of order, it does not work. So one thing that we can conclude is that black people are out of order. We need to establish some type of order, some type of image in order to maintain what we're going through. It may not it might not matter that you don't want to hear the subject that you don't want to change. But what we will say is that being more for real, because the Be More For Real podcast, we have to change our approach to everything from our lifestyles to our work ethic to everything in order to even compete on a worldly level and sustain it as a people.
Time, y'all. And it's out.
It's our time. It's our turn, man. We appreciate y'all for BMore for Real.
Absolutely.
Make sure y'all go into the BMore for Real entertainment segment with BMore Baby, man.
BMore4Real Entertainment,
Man, we love y'all. We
y'all.
appreciate the
With
viewers.
BMore, baby.
Like,
But
share,
thanks for joining us.
subscribe to the channel.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Uncle Wayne.
I am OMG Danny.
Soon to be Mayor Uncle Wayne.
Vote for Uncle Wayne for mayor. Let's go.